takes shape. Writing is generally credited to the ancient civilization of Sumer, later known as southern Mesopotamia, round about 3000 BC. The book began to take shape in many different ways. The Sumerians themselves wrote on clay tablets, while in ancient China, the earliest forms were made from wood or bamboo leaves bound with cord. In Egypt and Greece, the written word was committed to papyrus scrolls, which were unrolled to reveal their contents. The Romans, in the 1st century AD, moved things on with the introduction of the codex, manuscripts of vellum or parchment, stacked sequentially and attached along one edge so that pages could be turned. It's a fact. The word book is derived from the Old English bork, originally a document or charter. It is related to the Dutch boek and German Buch. Another associated word is beech, the wood on which ancient runes were often carved. The Chinese chipped in with two seismic inventions, that of paper and printing. Paper suitable for writing purposes was first manufactured in AD 105. Woodblock printing, the characters and images carved onto wood before being inked and applied to paper, came a century or two later. The world's oldest known printed book, the Diamond Sutra, a sacred Buddhist text written in Chinese and dated AD 868, was produced using this technique. The next significant development, in the 11th century and again courtesy of the Chinese, was the invention of movable type. Instead of cumbersome wood carving, printers used individual characters made from fired clay to create an image or body of text. As a result, books could be created faster and in greater quantities. Library of Alexandria. Founded in the 3rd century BC and dedicated to the Muses, in Greek mythology the 9 goddesses of the arts. This was the most famous library in the ancient world. The legendary book depository was created by Ptolemy I Soter, circa 367 to 282 BC, a former Macedonian general who became king of Egypt. For close to 300 years under the Ptolemaic dynasty, Alexandria would be the center of Greek culture. The contents of the library consisted mainly of papyrus scrolls, several of which might comprise a single piece of work. Estimates of the total number of books housed vary between 400,000 and 700,000. Some of the works were original, others painstakingly copied by hand. The Greek philosopher Aristotle, 384 to 322 BC, and the playwrights Aeschylus, 524 to 456 BC, Sophocles, circa 496 to 406 BC, and Euripides, 480 to 406 BC, were among those whose works lined the shelves. The acquisition of books was relentless, and at almost any price. Ships entering the harbour were often searched, any books found on board being confiscated for copying. If a book was of particular value or interest, the library would hang on to the original version and hand back a copy. Illuminated manuscripts. Book production was a major activity in many European monasteries. Monks meticulously copied texts in the scriptorium, a spacious room set aside for the purpose, working only in daylight hours for fear of candles setting alight the manuscripts. Some texts would be embellished, illuminated, with illustrations or other decorative features, many of them amazingly detailed. Richly coloured illustrations of religious figures and symbols and of flora and fauna were augmented by intricately patterned borders. The illuminating effect was achieved by the delicate application of gold leaf or specks of gold, a process known as burnishing. The earlier works were written on vellum or parchment, but by the Middle Ages, paper was in general use. The bound manuscripts produced by monasteries became models for the first printed books. Some became treasured works.